So, welcome to Funky November with Stadler Khan. Due to a bizarre sort of harmonic, lunar, and historical convergence, Thanksgiving and Hanukkah are happening on the same day. Thanksgiving Day, first night of Hanukkah, it's all one. Now, for me, this is actually a lucky break because I do the same thing on Thanksgiving morning that I do at Hanukkah, which is I fry things in oil. Thanksgiving, you're not going to eat until 4 or 5 in the afternoon, so you should have a substantial breakfast, and I think it should be a breakfast that's kind of a treat because it's a holiday. Normally, Thanksgiving morning, I wake up and I make donuts, which are serendipitously fried in lovely oil. We on the East Coast know more from latkes, right? Because it's more of an Eastern European tradition often, but a lot of Sephardic Jews and Jews in other parts of the world make donuts, or sufganiyot. I just learned that they are called from my Hebrew counselor, Danny Siegel. So they really serve every possible purpose. They're a delicious treat breakfast on Thanksgiving morning, and you could make them for Hanukkah, frying them in miraculous, delicious, splendiferous, serendipitous this year, thank you moon, oil. The thing that I like about this donut recipe, which I have to confess I stole almost whole cloth from Cooks Illustrated, is that it doesn't have to sit overnight. You can wake up 45 minutes before everybody else, and they will awaken to the lovely smell of fresh fried donuts and strong black coffee. And if that is not a mood elevator, nothing is. These donuts are thrown together. It's a buttermilk recipe. They have a wonderful, tender flavor, and you'll see at the end I stole another trick from Claudia Fleming from her book, The Last Course, which is just a little bit of tiny twist on how I deal with the sugar. So, start with your dries. We have a cup of flour, teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of baking soda, not to be confused with your 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and a cup of sugar. Push it up with your whisk. A whisk is a great way to combine your dry ingredients. Combining dry ingredients is very important in baking. Then, make your liquids, your wets. 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk. Oh well. Accidents happen at Stadler Khan. We don't worry about it. We love things and we sell things, but we're not hung up on things. 4 tablespoons of melted butter. Just melt them over a low flame. Donk, donk, donk. Salted or unsalted. I use sweet butter because our salt is coming from other places. And then 2 eggs and 1 egg yolk. Take that same whisk, push that up into a lovely gooshy goosh. Probably be good to wear an apron while you make these donuts, but I don't look cute in an apron, so I don't have an apron on. You can see it's already getting on me. So, then make a little well in the center of your dries. Pour in your wets. I love a spatula for situations like this, because as you know about me, I like to use every last little bit. No waste. Put that away somewhere. And then stir fast, 30 seconds. My mother used to make cornmeal molasses bread on Thanksgiving while wearing a black velour, I don't know what to call it. I guess a nightgown. It had some kind of a Tyrolean bib. It was insane. And on Thanksgiving morning, we would wake up to find my mother in her black velour robe with her hair kind of all akimbo shooting out and flour dusted up and down the front. So, we've stirred that together. It looks like this, a kind of a creamy creme anglaise type of look. Now we're going to add 2 3/4 cups more flour. Start slowly so that you don't end up looking like my mother, all flour dusted, but it's okay if you do. Stir that in, and the dough will now become something between cake batter and cookie dough. A kind of a thickish, battery dough. Stir it until all your flour is incorporated. Again, this is going to be probably another 30 seconds. Pull it down from the sides. And now, we're going to roll it out. We'll come back in 1 second and roll out the dough. And I'm heating up my oil as we speak. And we're going to fry. So, back in the tick, and we'll roll out and fry them up. See you in a bit. Back again. I forgot to show you this. There's a little whisper of nutmeg in this batter dough as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nutmeg strong. Malcolm X snorted it in prison. So stir that in as well. That would be better put into your dry ingredients, but it's not so terrible as long as you stir it in. The nutmeg will just give a sort of an old worldy longing to the fragrance of your donuts. Sprinkle out a little bit of flour. Dump out your dough. It's very stiff, somewhat uncooperative dough, but we're not going to worry about it. Get out as much as you can from the bowl. Whoa. Then flour the top. Plenty of flour because you don't want it to stick. Maybe even turn it over once. So a little bit might stick. You want a lot of flour on both sides. Da-da-da. It's already starting to stretch itself out, and all it will take is a quick roll out to get it. Oh, flour your roll-in pin. You want it about 1/2 inch thick. Okay, that did it. Now, you could get a fancy donut cutter. They're really fun to use, and then they look like super pro donuts. I don't have time for that kind of shenanigan today, so I'm cutting out diamond donuts. Young girls, they call them the diamond donuts. So we're just going to make a little harlequin cutout and do diamond donuts today. Sparkling diamonds at Hanukkah. Then take a tester, a little piece, and go over to your oil that you've been heating. If you have a candy thermometer, which most people don't, it might be a good time to get one because then you'd know. But you want 375 or it should start to bubble and fry. I need a little more heat, so I'm going to turn up my heat a little bit and come back in 2 minutes when my oil is the right temperatura. So the oil is now a nice temperature, which means that it's frying them to golden in about 60 seconds. Put them in your pan. You could do this with a spatula if you're nervous about the oil spattering you. I, unfortunately, am not afraid of anything. The donuts are getting a little squidgy in my hands. Don't overcrowd your pan. I would say not more than 9 mini donuts at a time. They're already turning gold at their edges right away, which is a good sign that your oil is the right temperature. When you see them, a dark gold around the edge, it's time to flip them. They really tell you when they need to be turned over because they develop a golden outline. I just showed our camera person for the still shot later on. You want to fry them to a beautiful deep gold on both sides. You have a draining paper, which is really just a grocery bag, Southern style, waiting for you so that as you pull them out of the oil with your slutty slotted spoon, they have a place to go and release all of that oil and not become soggy and yucky, but instead stay crispy and beautiful. So play with them a little bit, turn them over, goldify them. Say the prayer, Baruch Atoi Adonai Eloheinu Melech Donut. That's a traditional donut prayer that I do. Also, this is vegetable oil that I'm using. You could, if you were feeling rebellious, add a few tablespoons of bacon fat to the grease just for flavor, or a bit of lard. But you'd really be a badass if you did that on Hanukkah. I might do that. Here they are. They're deep gold now. They really are lovely. They resemble, actually, in form, the beignets from the Café du Monde in New Orleans. And if you haven't been there for beignets and coffee at the end of a raucous evening, you should go. Here they are. So out they come, and we'll give you a picture later to show you how gorgeous they are. Bits of fried dough. There was no oil, not even enough for one night, and then it lasted and it lasted and it lasted for 8 nights, and then the Puritans came to America and they ate pumpkins and turkeys, and the whole thing turned out, you know, pretty good, but we're still working on it. Amen. You'll make up a bunch of bats of donuts, a bunch of bats, batsy, weetsy bats, a batch of donuts, and then, where'd my garam masala go? Oh, here it is. This is the Claudia Fleming trick. Claudia Fleming wrote an extraordinary book called The Last Course. It's just desserts, and she really, that was one of the cookbooks that sort of like altered my mind about the way I think about dessert, the way I think about sweets. And she, when she makes her donut recipe, she uses, instead of cinnamon sugar, she makes garam masala sugar. So put about a teaspoon of garam masala in your sugar and just stir it around, mix it the way you would. A fork is probably better than a finger, but I don't have a fork right now. Then take your newly drained donut and just turn it in the sugar, just like they do in the donut factory. Hello, my name is Joe, and I work in a donut factory. One day, my boss came up to me, he said, "Hey Joe, are you busy?" I said, "No." He said, "Put garam masala in your sugar." So, here they are. The kids have now sniffed the donuts. They're gathering around like hungry little puppies. And you, saint of all time, listed in the Old Testament and at Plymouth Rock, are the donut-making, Hanukkah-tastic, chef-verific, uncle, mommy, daddy, brother, whatever. You've made coffee, too, while you were going. That is a fresh, hot, delicious, really, really good. Oh, these are really good. I'm not kidding you. These donuts are delicious. They are delicious hot out of the oil. They will stay delicious for about 1 or 2 hours. That's it. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Thanksgiving. This was easy. It's no big deal. You don't have to put it into the refrigerator the night before. And it starts the day off or finishes your candle lighting and present gift gifting with a wonderful homey touch. I wish you a happy everything. I'll see you again at Christmas with some kind of nonsense. Stop by the shop. We're going to talk to my brother soon about his pan forte. All right. Bye.